right, everybody, welcome again to the newest episode of Our Lame Life with Kelsey and Sam. I'm Sam, and this is...
Kelsey?
She wasn't ready for that.
No.
Uh,
No.
and we're here for another great infotaining episode. I'm going to keep saying that word until it becomes a thing. About life with disability and being a couple with the same disability, a disabled couple. We still don't know the proper term, so we're going to use that until somebody informs us otherwise. Or we may even use it afterwards. I don't know. But today, we're going to look at a website and look at some of the symptoms. I guess you could call them symptoms of cerebral palsy or effects of
issues.
issues.
So, yeah, effects.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Effects of cerebral palsy. And all of this is found on cerebralpalsyguidance.com. It's just a website we found that looked very professional and official, and like that was their main focus, so we wanted to go with that. There might be other good websites out there, and if you know of any good websites that you want us to look at or that you just want to recommend to people, please put them in the comments below. We ain't scared, although YouTube may not like it if you put links in the comments, so maybe don't do that, but like reference the website, like the title of the website or something, so you don't get flagged as spam. What's number one on the list, my dear?
Well, I'm going to start out by saying there's a wide, I don't want to say spectrum because that has a weird word, but there's a wide range with CP. And everybody who has CP, even if you have the same type, it could affect you differently. Like,
Right.
For example, me and Sam have the same exact type of disability.
Right.
Of CP. There's different types. There's different severities. So on paper, we're the same, but it affects us both differently. And this is just how it affects us and how we deal with it. It's going to affect everybody differently, no matter if you have the same kind or not.
For example, just a broad example between me and Kelsey, I use crutches to walk around and a scooter to do long distances. Kelsey walks pretty much fine. She just has like a slight little waddle that she does. She's really cute. So I mean that's pretty much the difference there. And again, different people, different severities. There are people that are nonverbal because of their CP, and then there are people like us who have no problem speaking at all. Just because we're different, nobody's better than anybody, or there's no competition to like, oh, I'm more cerebral palsy than you. I don't even know if that's an adjective.
The first one is movement and walking disabilities, which Sam just mentioned that we do those differently. Mm-hmm. Sam uses forearm crutches most of the time. Yeah, you want to show those?
If I can figure out how to get him in the box. There we go.
There we go, yeah.
Wait. There we go.
And
up. Okay.
And then if it's like a really long distance or really rough terrain, he'll use either a scooter or a wheelchair.
Yeah, the wheelchair
depending on
behind me with all the stuff on it. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, and then we use what some people refer to as leg braces. Their proper term is orthotics.
Yeah, AFOs. I forget what AFO stands for.
Yeah, they each have different subset names. A lot of weird medical names. But orthotics, leg braces, pretty much it.
Right.
So we both have those. I do not wear mine like I'm supposed to.
Does yours even like fit you is the question.
Yeah, I tried them on not too long ago. They still fit. I just don't wear them like I'm supposed to. But we have those, which mine are in my closet if I would have thought about it.
And that's a good difference pointing out. If I don't wear mine, I'm a lot less like stable. I can walk around barefoot. It's just not as safe to do so. So I only do it like at night when I'm walking from like my room to the bathroom, which is like literally right behind me. So, that's not a big distance. But I avoid like any further than that. I don't go to the kitchen without my braces on. Um, so that'll tell you right there. She doesn't really quote unquote need them. She can get around without them, even though she should. It would help if she used them. And see, that's the difference there.
We also have trouble with balance and coordination.
Uh-huh.
So yes, I can go without them, but my balance is still affected, even with or without them.
Mm-hmm.
My coordination is not
Right.
up to par, and neither is Sam's.
No.
So that's another
Um.
thing.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to piggyback ride from me, we're both going to the ground. That's just
Yeah.
the way it is.
Speech difficulties, like we said, ours is pretty normal. When we get excited or nervous,
Mm-hmm.
you can hear it. You can
Yeah.
hear it in our laughs sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, but it once you figure out what you're looking for, you can pick up on it. Um, but as far
Okay.
as speech, things like that,
Like I don't know if this is considered separate in the article, but like my face will get all kind of tight if I'm nervous, and that affects your speech. You're gonna sound different.
and your vocal cords and things they
Oh yeah.
tight because they're muscles
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Oh yeah.
So
I used to work just some anecdotal evidence. I used to work at a place where I had to answer the phone and I had to deal with some pretty angry customers a lot of the time. That was not a good job for me because as soon as I got nervous because I was being yelled at for something I didn't do, that the conversation was over. They won because I couldn't overcome that. I probably could have. It was a struggle.
speech, learning disabilities. Um, I, me personally, I had some learning disability as far as uh, I got fatigued again, the vision fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
in school. So, and when the teacher or instructor moved too fast, I would get confused
Right.
because I was still trying to catch up from the fatigue from last time. And so in school, I got accommodations like
Right.
extra time on assignments, breaks between assignments, so I could like put it down, walk away,
Mm-hmm.
and come back. Um, uh, Shortened assignments as far as like everybody, I would get the same assignments as everyone else, but like they would get a 4-page paper and they would give me like a 2-page paper,
Right.
you know, on the same topic. So like,
Mm-hmm.
we were both, or at least for me, I was in normal, regular ed classes.
Right.
Um, I just had those accommodations
Right.
that followed me around. And then I had, because of the fatigue and the vision issues, I had someone take my notes sometimes. Um,
Right.
but, as far as that, and then testing accommodations, like, since it was a test, they had to sit me separately and um, do things because they didn't want me, cheating or whatever.
Yeah.
But uh, as far as work, I did the same work as everyone else. I was in the same classes as everyone else. And Sam, you didn't really have any learning accommodations, right? Yours were
I.
most physical.
Yeah. I think. Okay. So experientially, I do think I have like slower processing speed, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
which I think is part of that.
Yes.
But like, I don't think that was ever. I don't think that ever affected my ability to learn the material. Like, I don't remember ever having like a different, but similar assignment lengthwise. I don't think that was ever a thing that they did for me. But I did have more time during tests. There were a few times where I had more time as far as the due dates for assignments. I had a
Yeah.
child-specific aide that took all my notes for me, so I had that going. So like, but at the same time, it was interesting for me, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying this is kind of cool. Like when I would have we would have things called IEP meetings, right? And usually for disabled people, it was to talk about those accommodations and everything else. But I was also a part of the gifted and talented program, and that's a whole nother. I guess if there's a special ed spectrum, gifted and talented is on the other side of that. So I had the biggest IEP meetings because I had the gifted and talented people and the disability people, and sometimes it would be like, okay, we'll talk about accommodations over here, and then those people would leave, or vice versa, depending on what needed to be discussed. So it's very interesting growing up and learning that there are two sides to special education.
Cognitive impairments.
I think that goes along with the process.
Yeah, with the learning.
Yeah.
And what we just discussed. Like we said, there's a spectrum, so there are people who are affected cognitively and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's some, way over here versus way over here, and
right.
There's a big spectrum, but it does affect people cognitively as well.
Yeah.
So, hearing or vision loss.
I don't know if it's like vision, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm nearsighted, but I don't know if that's like just because I'm nearsighted or if that's CP related.
Yeah, so for me, I think for both of us, but as far as the vision goes, we have normal vision as far as a typical vision exam.
Right.
It's not like we're blind or,
peripheral vision. I just remember peripheral vision is like almost non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine is better than yours, but it's still an issue. Yeah. But as far as typical eyesight, we're okay. But things like depth perception, like he was saying earlier, reaction time. There was another one that goes along with that, but it's more in depth than that. Like we have, like my mom was explained by the doctor this way, is that I can see things. I have, normal vision versus, reading things and whatever, but the same effort it would take you, a normal person, to read something, left to right as if you were to read it. It would be like you reading it upside down and mirror image. Like you could still do it,
right.
But it would take time, and that's how much effort it would take. Time and effort, and that's how much effort it is just for me to read normally.
Right.
So, as far as ability, I can do it. As far as it's effort and eye muscle strain.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah. Vision fatigue is a big thing. Like I will not wear my glasses most of the time when I'm at home, just because I feel like it wears me out sooner. I'm just like, I don't want to. And I've told my eye doctors that, like, my eyes get tired, I just take off my glasses. Because, like, if you're sitting at your home, you're not looking for things at a distance, so there's no point. Like, this is... And my nearsightedness is very small, so it's... If, like, somebody else were to wear these, they probably wouldn't be able to tell a difference. I don't know how strong your lenses are, but mine are pretty weak. Like,
mine are much strong.
I think we've worn each other's glasses before. Or am I crazy? I feel like that's a thing we did. Or maybe I was goofing off.
I think you tried mine on.
Yeah. We should do that on a video next time we're together and
Hearing, no, mine has always been, I've gotten, normal checks throughout
right.
schooling and just in general, and they're perfectly fine. My ears were sensitive as a child, but I think that was
Right.
just a thing.
Okay.
So what about
Yeah. Well, if you ask my mother, um, I am pretty hard of hearing, but I come by that honestly from my dad's side of the family. Um, no, but in general, like legitimately, I don't think I've ever had an issue with hearing. I'm trying to remember back because I feel like I've taken hearing tests before, and I can't remember anything anybody's ever said as far as the results of those go. Um,
Yeah, I don't think if we do, it's not CP related.
yeah,
I don't think
right.
so.
What about next?
uh So, epilepsy. Thankfully, no, I do not.
No, but I have had friends with CP that I've watched them have seizures and things and that. And it's not fun.
Hmm.
It's not fun. Um, and again, just because we're not typical, nobody is typical. There is no typical. I don't think with these kinds of things. So just because we don't deal with things doesn't mean that your CP neighbor doesn't have their own things they have to deal with. So keep that in
Right.
mind. One thing I tell people who are interested when it comes to disabilities in general, every person is different, not only in what they have to deal with, but in how they deal with it. So, like, I'm very chill and laid back, but you might have a kid or an adult who, like, don't talk about, they don't want to talk about it, they're, you know, or whatever, you know. But I don't care. Like, hopefully you'll see our senses of humor reflect our view on our disability. Like, I'll make fun of myself. I don't care. I have friends that know they can make jokes around me, and we all laugh, you know. Like, but they also know where to draw the line, and if they don't know, I'll tell them, you know. But that line is like, if we're over here, that line is like not even in the room. I feel like most of the time, you got to be a real jerk for me to get upset. Um,
Emotional and behavioral challenges. I don't. mm, Not that I've
emotional,
ever known.
like emotional. I don't. That's one of the ones that's hard to pin down because like I can be pretty emotional, but I don't want to attribute it to CP. But like going through my teenage years, like sucked, and I don't know if it was amplified by the cerebral palsy issue, you know,
Mm.
um, or not. I just remember really having a really hard time with certain things that normal teenagers go through. I mean, like you know, but that could be just being a teenager, or that could be being a teenager with CP. I don't know. Some of these, like, oh,
Right. So it may or may not be.
right.
Um, but as far as behavioral issues, I don't think either one of us has
I don't.
dealt with.
I don't even
Be-
know like what that would qualify. Like, what would be an example of that? I
I don't know. Uh,
like they don't even give examples on this list.
no, they don't give examples. They just list it. So I don't know if that's like tantrums or
Yeah,
if that's like, I don't know. But as far
right.
as we know,
Yeah.
we're
If anybody in the comments knows what they mean by that and wants to
fine.
explain that to us, go right ahead.
Spinal deformities. Um, I've had my back x-rayed and they've never said anything. So I'm guessing I'm fine.
I'm
I
not
don't
100% sure. Like, it's been a while since I think I've had a mine X-ray, and that's not something that usually comes up. Um, I know posture has a lot to do with that too, though. Like, you know,
Yeah, we do have to practice sitting up a lot
right?
and getting our posture correct.
Yeah.
Um, so as far as that goes. Um, the last one is joint problems. Um,
I mean,
If, as far as just moving around, no. Uh, we have, I have joint problems if, say, if I have new terrain or new environment to figure out, then like that day, the day, that night or whatever, um, my knees and shins kill me.
Yeah.
It's just more of a change in normal activity that kind of, they're like, oh, this is new. But as far as specific joint problems, not really.
Right. I think mine are pretty much the same way. I have days where, like, it could be joints, it could be like just surgery, like, old man pains, I like to call them, and it's hard to. Mostly in my knees. I'll have days where my knee hurts for no apparent reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's a while back I also had something. Don't know what it is. Can't really say. It might be something that we're currently dealing with. But that was back in January, so it's not likely. But no, I was sick. Regardless of what it was, I was sick, and I was just weaker. And I was rolling around in my wheelchair for a while just because I could barely walk without getting worn out. And my knees decided they wanted to hurt at the same time. It was really bad. Stuff like that happens, and I'm like, this sucks, So I guess that's part of it. And then of course, if I get sick, it's even worse. What's the next one?
That was the last one.
Oh, we're done.
So we're
now
done.
Now you kind of understand some of the stuff we deal with. I thought constipation was on the list, or was that a different thing?
That might have been a different one, but
Okay.
we have heard that, those type of issues
Right. And
do happen with people who aren't as mobile.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's more because if you're sedentary, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's more like everyone who is sedentary has issues with.
Drink a lot of water and go for a walk if you're able to.
I would say the biggest thing is that anything we say is according to our journey and what we experience with CP, and it's no way medical advice nor anything you necessarily should do, not do. It might work for you, it might not work for you. These are just tips, ideas, things to think about, knowledge about our life. And so if it helps you in any way, then, but if
and we're reading as far as we can tell, we're reading an objective source and saying we deal with this, we don't deal with this. That's all we're doing. We're not saying everybody deals with it or nobody deals with it.
Right.
So there's a lot of subjectivity unless we say we got this information from here, which we will have videos where we go into like technical details with factual information and sources. But that's not this video. And that will not be the majority of our videos. So.
Yes.
But anyway, once again, thank you for watching Our Lame Life. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or want to add your 2 cents to the conversation, please do so in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and ring that bell because YouTube is really weird about letting people know that new videos are up. And also, like the video if you liked it. And we'll see you next time. This is Sam and Kelsey signing off. See you later.
Bye.